Edgar. Hello, hello. Welcome back, beloveds. Welcome back. Friday, day five of the I am activation. We've been on a journey, y'all. It has been a journey of a really empowering one, but also a very emotional one. Anytime we're working with the resistance and the parts and places and spaces within us that say that we're not enough, it's going to be an emotional ride, is it not? We've had an emotional week, emotional day, but also really expansive and exciting. And we're going to continue that momentum with our Friday Divine Mirror speaker session. I mentioned to you guys already on this morning's call how excited I am to bring these two gentlemen and their work to you. And something else that I mentioned, which I think is really beautiful, is I have only been mostly served my entire spiritual journey and personal development journey by women. And that's where I felt safe. And in the last several years, I've been working on my own felt sense of safety internally and externally around men. And I have been given the pleasure, the honor to be held by both of these men in sessions and in space. So not only are they going to share their work with you, but I experienced it and it was beneficial and amazing and wonderful, so much so for me that I want to bring it to you guys and let you guys experience what Edgar is about and what Gladius is about. So let's bring Edgar up and I'll read his bio. I'm going to go ahead and add you to a spotlight here. I'm going to actually remove me and add you so you're at the top. Perfect. So, Edgar is deeply passionate about helping heart-centered visionaries tap into their divine multidimensional superpowers. He believes we all have the potential to create empowering expansion, evolution, and beauty in every aspect of our lives. His mission is to inspire you to embrace your deepest truths and playfulness, relentless optimism, and manifest majestic and prolific miracles for yourself, those around you, and the collective consciousness. I love that. I think that was the most fun I've had reading a bio so far.
Thank you.
Welcome, Edgar. Welcome. It's so good to have you here.
So good to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me and yeah, and all the things that we've co-created.
Yeah, it's been beautiful. I'm
Yeah.
grateful that the universe brought us together, and I'm grateful that we've had the opportunity to weave and experience each other's magic. And I'm grateful that you are a full heaven yes, as Gladius says, a full heaven yes to being a part of the I am activation. And yeah, I'm so where I feel called to start with you, because every session's so different, as these mirror sessions are meant to be a mirror, right? We are mirrors for one another. And it's often our journey and our experiences and the things that we've navigated that birth our soul service into the world. And so I would love to hear a little bit, whatever part of your story you feel called to share, of where you were and how you got here today to be serving and supporting others and manifesting prolific miracles in their life.
Yeah. So in terms of where I was, um, I'll start with like the catalyst for me happened in middle school actually. I started my spiritual journey in middle school, and the themes of what happened then related a lot with shame, the shame that I was going through in terms of lack of self-worth and not being enough, and feeling like so down on myself that I would beat myself up about especially like in relation to being really shy with girls. I was like I really wanted to have a girlfriend, and I was like so awkward at the time too, and I felt a lot of shame about it in middle school, and I ended up looking up online how to talk to girls, and then I came up to someone talking about the movie The Count of Monte Cristo, and that book or that movie. I started watching it, and it was about this guy who like I really related to like the main character, and how he just seemed like a loser. He lost everything. He was and he got sent to prison. This like was in the medieval ages, and then in the prison he met a mentor who was his like cellmate, and they ended up escaping together. But he also learned a lot from him, and he went through this transformation where he very quickly gained a lot of confidence, and it was like an extreme amount of confidence, but it was also balanced with humility and a desire to be of service to the people he loves. And he gained a lot of wealth as well. And so that movie really inspired me in terms of like how a lot of people believe that it's impossible or it's very difficult for people to go through a very quick transformation from like being so low and down on ourselves to like a level of gratitude and satisfaction and contentedness that in all areas of our lives really. And so yeah, that's what the movie inspired me in, like lighting a spark. I still had shame in high school, middle school, high school. Like I did improve luckily, but it did take many years of lots of dark nights of the soul for me to really get to the place where I am today, where I honestly am so grateful for how things are unfolding. Like I experienced recently the other day that like I feel like I received everything from the kingdom of heaven after being with this beautiful woman I'm dating right now, and yeah, I would tell her.
Celebrations. I was gonna
Thank
ask. I was like, so we found a partner, right? Or we went on dates and we found the confidence
yeah,
to
so it's
ask
happening.
and talk to women, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's been
Clearly.
great.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so that manifested
Since
super
we've
grateful
last
for that
talked, actually.
since we last talked. Yeah,
Which is awesome. And
thank you.
what's interesting too is we were talking earlier this morning about my relationship to men and the masculine because of you guys coming on. And yeah, I almost forgot that that was something that we were working around. That was something that you were holding space for me for.
Oh yeah.
If you, yeah, if you recall, we were talking in a this beautiful kava bar, and I had mentioned this fear of being lost in a relationship, and you felt the resonant of that in that you felt that too. And so in the
Mhm.
session we got to go into that fear, which was really beautiful. Yeah, so
Mhm.
I love that you helped clear a little maybe of residual stuff too around that, and now look at you in partnership.
Thank you. Yeah,
Congratulations.
appreciate it. Yeah, it's been super beautiful, and like from the feeling like I've received everything from the kingdom of heaven. I say that as a metaphor to describe what the feeling is like really profound gratitude and contentedness. And it just made me feel like I can't help but want to give back
Hmm.
to others, and especially the people that I love, but also the collective in general after experiencing the results of manifesting this.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your story. I love it. Gladius said also that he can relate, and I'm sure many people here listening can as well. And so I
Mhm.
know, which came first, manifestation or magic? Or is it one and the same too? I mean, now to me
Ooh,
it's
good
one and the
question.
same.
I
Yeah.
would say first, oh man, that's a good question. Um they both like if really had to break it down, it was magic first. Yeah, now that I think about it. The reason it was magic is because my cousin, he's not super spiritual, but he would get into like dark things, and um not like super dark, but he uh he was interesting, and he once told me when I was like in, I don't know, I was in eighth grade or something. He was like, "Have you heard about sigils? Like, it's pretty weird. Like, it's just kind of dark." And so I started looking up what sigils were, and I never really like. I looked up, I guess, how to do certain types of magic, but at that time, I was like, this kind of intense. I don't think I want to do this right now. But I got introduced to it, and I learned some things, uh, and I hadn't heard about manifestation at the time until I was in high school. And then I started practicing manifestation through prayer and gratitude, as if the feeling of the wish fulfilled has already happened, and yeah, being in the moment of having received what I wanted. So yeah, I started doing that in high school, but not very consistently.
It's
So
still amazing though. Yeah. I know that that's what, and for those of you here, yes, we mentioned manifestation but this beautiful man is a master in magic and works with magic and sigils and the angels, and we deeply connected in that space. So I'm
mhm.
curious because the word magic, I use a CK to denote the difference. So what do you define magic as?
So to me, magic is very similar to manifesting. To me, they're one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that magic utilizes more of like help and support from spirits, from other intelligences, whereas regular manifestation, it's only you or you and your divine self. But I can still give a definition for magic, which is I define magic as, and some of y'all might have heard of this, it's the art and science of causing change in our internal or external worlds, uh, in conformity with our will, using
Mm-hmm.
spiritual or metaphysical or psychic means, or all three of them.
I've
And,
never heard that. And I
yeah,
think it's an incredible definition. So thank you for sharing it.
you're welcome.
And
Mhm.
so I'm curious, do you weave both, right? You're weaving the manifestation and the magic. And like you said, it really is so much, very much one and the same. So what has been your journey with that? When you
Mhm.
were practicing manifestation in high school, is it the same type of manifestation magic that you practice now today? And how has that evolved?
Yeah, I would say it's very different because the way I manifest and or practice magic, which for me they're like so similar, they're all pretty much the same as I said. Um, like it is, I do focus on feeling the state of the wish fulfilled, but that is not what I focus on first. What I focus on first is uh, clarity, making sure I'm clear on my desire, what it is that I want and why I want it, and making sure that that comes from a very pure heart centered place that is in alignment with what feels authentic and true to me. And
Mhm.
then from there, I focus on the negative feelings associated with what would happen if I don't get what I desire, like the
Mm.
fears, the dread, or whatever it is that's negative. I allow myself to focus on it, and then I do this process of dissociating from it, and then playing with those emotions with my hands and appreciating those things, those
Mhm.
emotions, so that it creates an alchemy and fully transmutes the rock bottom of what my imagination is creating about the situation. And then from there, as it's transmuting, it's so much easier to feel the state of the wish fulfilled, and it's so much easier to call that into the body and allow myself to embody it more fully, more and more.
I love that. Thank you for
Just
sharing because what I heard too, and what I think many can um, attest to what we've been doing and what we've been talking about before is that it's guaranteed that with your desires, the things that you're wanting to manifest and create in your life, that there's going to be resistance.
mm-hmm,
And so what I heard oftentimes, I think that is the missing piece with manifestation is what most manifestation techniques, for example, the law of attraction, it's like just
mm-hmm,
focus on this as if it's already happened and your thoughts become things, and that's just simply not true. And there's a yes, the manifestation in the desire I find to be the journey of becoming. Okay, now who do I get to become to receive this and hold it into my field and really enjoy and experience this experience. So yeah, you in your process, you're addressing that. Where's the resistance? And
mm-hmm.
also what I love about your process that other people here might not know, but your process doesn't necessarily require you to always go into the story, right?
Yeah, it doesn't require that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because it's more about feelings and sensations. And um, yeah, I did my best to distill what the core essence of it
Hmm.
was. And it really seems like transmutation is the core essence of effective manifestation.
Mm.
Because, and what I mean by effective is where like the resistances have been dissolved. And so then it's not just setting you up to get the result that you want, it's also setting you up to have a fun journey along the way instead of, yeah, like taking action to breaking through the resistance is great. And I know that people have gotten results, like entrepreneurs get results and manifest, or not necessarily manifest, but they make a lot of money and create successful businesses because they're breaking through the resistances. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're having fun or being healthy along the way. And I think
Hmm.
that it is important to have fun and be relaxed and allow all the collaborative components to support the process
Mm.
as we take massive action in a way that's just feels like pure flow state. And that's my ideal when it comes to action.
Amazing. Is there
Hmm.
anything else as it relates to the process that you want to go a little bit deeper around?
Oh yeah, so I do have the five pillars of deliberate
That's
creation
right.
that I talked about in the live, and then I can go into one of the first ones, which is about seeing when it comes to manifesting, like we can see our whole life as a tapestry that's also a canvas of a lot of mirrors and also just beauty that can be transformed. And so I'll just use the word canvas to start. So when it comes to like manifesting our best life in all areas of our life with just one manifestation, I've found that the most effective way to do that is to imagine that within the quantum field of infinite possibilities, there is a version of us that is on their deathbed and they are so grateful and content and satisfied that they have experienced all the things, all the most beautiful experiences of their lives in all areas of their lives: health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality, spiritual purpose. And from there, like as I imagine that version of myself and notice how content and happy they are, I'll like start to imagine that I can go in through a portal. I'll just open a portal with my hands, imagining that I can do it, and walk into that scene where they're there and have start having a conversation with them energetically more than words at first, but then um, using words after a little bit, just to like set up the connection, make it strong.
Mhm.
And then from there, I I'll allow myself to notice how they are appreciating me and where I am in this moment of my life.
Mm.
As like they appreciate like all the things that happen in between. And then uh from there it's just that will build the connection more between me and my future self. And then from there it's just I can give them a high five, for example, and allow that to like allow myself to notice how like they're reminiscing other things, like more specific details of frequencies, more frequencies than about specific like actual events is what I found has been especially helpful. And that has honestly helped me get more and more clear as to my direction and what decisions would resonate with me more than other decisions.
Can I ask why? Because I'm sure people, and I feel the answer and response is going to be powerful, but why the frequency rather than the actuality of this, the scene or what happened?
So there's one of the biggest reasons is because I like to for things to be a surprise. I
Mm,
do
okay.
have opened some abilities to see the future, which is great, and that's pretty cool. But at the same time, I've noticed that it's also, I think, it's also super fun to not know what's going to happen. And so, but I can still feel what can happen at the same time. I can still feel like certain beautiful things in, for example, the area of my life of my health, like being even more healthy than how I am right now through specific types of exercises that I found that I love to do, like dancing. Or when it comes to relationships, a specific type of romantic relationship. I can feel into the future what is coming in relation to that, for example. And then I also allow myself to not necessarily have to know what they look like, who it is, or what kind of experiences they have. And so I think that just is a nice balance between surprise and creation, like conscious creation.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I love that. And do you also find in your studies and work within manifestation that the feeling is really what we seek, anyways? It's not the what, it's the
Yeah.
fulfillment, the joy, the bliss. And that what we were talking about earlier today too is that, that to me is, what did I say? It's like the fuel. It's the fuel for the thought, the intention, and it colors the thought or the intention that we send out, is really the feeling of the wish fulfilled, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's great because that feeling can shift and change as well, where um, we can add even more beauty to the feelings of the wish fulfilled
Mm-hmm.
if we want. And I think that's where it becomes more and more like art and less like effort.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And I love that too, because I feel, and as you're sharing, I can, sense you tapping into this these future possibilities with excitement and joy, and you're really just in training your own energy field to be receptive for that.
Hmm.
Right, you're essentially just in training your field for what it is that you're calling forward. So it's, and I actually saw it as, because you mentioned going into the quantum field, right, within this practice, literally the collapsing of the timelines, and it's like, all
Yeah,
right, now it's here. Yeah.
yeah, and I've experienced it being getting pretty bizarre, where like all these synchronicities in alignment with my destiny. What I mean by that is like the direction of my future self, who's so grateful of all the things they've experienced. And yeah, it's gotten really bizarre sometimes because there's certain like symbols that deeply resonate with me. For example, right now it's the blue morpho butterfly, and it feels like
Mm.
it's not just a spirit animal to me. It's also um, something that has profound, significant, symbolic meaning to me on so many levels. And so I met someone who had that exact frequency. It's almost like they were blue morpho butterfly too. And then
Mm.
the things that we shared in our conversation made it seem so like interesting how like, and just bizarre in a very beautiful way, how like all the things lined up within the conversation. It was like, I don't know, 30 synchronicities within 30 minutes or something.
I call that magic.
It was very magical. Yeah.
Also, the other piece about your techniques that I really appreciate as well is your future self reflecting in so much love, appreciation, gratitude on the current self. There, I think oftentimes we can, get upset at where ourselves, at where we are. I don't know if upset's necessarily the right word. It's a general word, but we can, feel like, where we are is not where we want to be, and therefore, feeling that lacking. But instead, you're bringing forth the frequency of appreciation, which allows us to really be so grateful for this moment,
Hmm.
this exact moment,
Yeah.
this exact version of self.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's I think exactly why, like another reason why it's so helpful to connect with our future self, because um any challenge that we're going through, like there was this one quote that I really loved in the books Carlos Castaneda, where the mentor of Carlos Castaneda, because it was like a nonfiction, book originally. It was nonfiction, but then they changed. The anthropologist got mad and they said, "No, this is fiction," because it was so magical. But anyway, he his mentor told him, ordinary people see everything as a blessing or a curse, but warriors see everything as a challenge.
Mm.
And the type of warrior that they were talking about is more like a person who is able to discipline their mind and focus their awareness on specific intentions that they intend to manifest. That's what they mean by warrior. Like Bruce Lee, for example, once said that a warrior is an ordinary person with laser-like focus. Um, so how this relates to challenges in our life, like negative experiences that can be super daunting for us, is that, like I was saying, it's so helpful to appreciate those negative emotions from an objective perspective where we can dissociate from them, like by taking them away from our body.
Mm-hmm.
Imagining that we can do that with our hands. I actually teach this. It's called holographic somatics as a modality. And then from there, like channeling divine love into the body, and by remembering times when we really appreciated someone or something, allowing our body to start to synchronize with those memories, and then projecting those beautiful frequencies from our heart into the negative emotions that we have in front of us. As they transmute, we'll notice them changing colors and into more higher frequencies, and then putting them back into our body. And how this relates to warriors is that I, for some reason, decided that I think we can go a step further and say that heart warriors not only see everything as a challenge, but also appreciate all their challenges. And that, I think, is something that our future self, who's living their best deathbed experience, is encouraging us to do, is to like appreciate all these challenges, because they teach us so much, in terms of wisdom, love, and power, and how they help us evolve. And it's like the transmutation that the lotus or the butterfly goes through, where yeah. One more quote, where one of my favorite quotes is that the lotus blossoms most beautifully from the deepest and darkest mud, is a Buddhist proverb. And yeah, like it's like the lotus is going to be beautiful anyway, but it's going to be more beautiful the darker the dark night of the mud is. And that's something that yeah, like I have a collection of quotes besides this one, but I'll stop with this one.
It's amazing. No, it's absolutely, it's so good. I think we all need that remembrance, that gentle reminder that all that we've navigated, the pain serves a greater purpose in our life experience, our journey of becoming. And so, yeah, thank you. The lotus is such a beautiful symbol for that in and of itself. And
Mm.
within your practice, I really enjoyed the taking of and I want to, at least from my perspective, when we say negative emotion, we mean negative frequency and vibration, not necessarily a lesser or a bad emotion, but like
Mhm.
taking those emotions and bringing them out of the body helps us disidentify with them as part of us, which I
Yeah,
think is a really, really powerful thing. Like, I am not the fear. I am not the pain. I am not this experience. And we can take it out and see it as something separate from us. And then, yeah, of course, great alchemist, master alchemist, transmutation. Let's turn that into love through the frequency of love. And then let's just reintegrate it, which is really beautiful too. Another thing that I love, because so I find, or I notice that we're all about like clearing, get rid of, surrender, throw it in the fire. It's just this desire to just get rid of.
yeah,
And then you're missing the beauty of the alchemy.
exactly.
If you just get rid of it, like, here, you take this, I don't want it. It's like, no, take it, love it, transmute it, and then you get the gold, and then you get to reintegrate that, and then you get to expand, which is amazing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. I love that, because that reminds me of how um there was this famous basketball star, I forgot his name, but they asked him one time, like, how do you deal with the pressure? And he said, I make love to the pressure.
Mm.
And when I heard that, I was like, wow, okay, well, we can apply that with any challenging emotion. Like,
Mm.
how do you deal with anxiety? Oh, I make love to my anxiety.
I
I love
love.
make love to my fears. It's like, what
Yes.
do?
Oh, I really like that. I really like that. It's
Mhm.
taking the embracing of the challenging experiences and like taking it to a whole new level. Like not only do I embrace the challenges, but I make love to it. Oh, it's beautiful. So good. I also was it, did you say holographic somatics? That's
Mhm.
is that something that you made? Is that yours or
I've never heard of it before, so I believe I made it up.
I've never heard that. Like
Yeah, yeah,
holographic somatics. That's fantastic.
you.
Because and I feeling into it like the soma body obviously, but you're using the actual physical body to enact this holographic like removal of is it when you say holographic somatics, it's that whole process.
Yeah, so the alchemy aspect is just one
Okay.
part of holographic somatics.
Gotcha.
And you can do so much more
Yeah.
besides
So
alchemy.
since we're still talking about the your process, there was a great question that I might even need a little bit of clarification around. But it says from Gladius, he says, curious to know if there's any specific intention or mantra that you use to accompany your hand gestures as you're alchemizing that resistance or the rock bottom or anything that's preventing you from, truly feeling the wish fulfilled.
So in terms of a mantra or specific things that I say, like I don't think I have anything that I say. Yeah, like it's more feeling based, but I think
Mm-hmm,
it
mm-hmm,
can be very empowering to have a mantra where it's something like along the lines of better and better. Like I'm so grateful this is improving, or it's getting better and better, or something like that, where there can be some kind of wonderful, almost like a rhyme that can accompany it. Where I think the idea is to make it more fun, and I
uh-huh.
think it is the more empowering it can be. So I'm open to if Gladys, you have an idea, I'm open to shifting or adding something new with it.
And I'm always open to more fun too. Life can be so serious sometimes, and
Yeah.
I can be really serious sometimes. So, when we can bring joy and levity and fun, and honestly, we say love is the great alchemizer, and it is. But when we bring joy and play into things, we are able to. The results are it's efficient and effective beyond our wildest imagination when we
Mm,
bring joy and play. And I can't tell you how many times I've been in really intense moments with friends, emotional moments, and then something brings laughter to us. And it's just like the quickest shift from, here to here.
yeah. It really, yeah, like the laughter, especially those belly laughs, they take us to the bottom of our body, and then it just elevates everything. Alchemy.
Alchemy.
Yeah,
Alchemy.
laughter is definitely a powerful way to alchemize things. So that's
What's your
cool.
favorite book? I don't know why this is coming through. Sometimes I get questions that might be other people's. What's your favorite book or favorite, whether it be favorite book of all time or favorite book that you're currently loving on?
Ooh, okay. Um, I would say The Alchemist.
Nice.
Probably it's hard,
Appropriate.
but it's up there in the all-time favorites for sure. The Alchemist
It's a good
by
one.
Paulo Coelho.
It's a really good one.
Yeah, and the main thing that I loved about it was the concept of a personal legend and how they talked about how it's not just us as humans that have personal legends, it's also animals and plants and rocks and buildings. everything has a personal legend. And
What is a personal legend for anyone who hasn't read the book?
what is a personal legend?
Hmm.
It's essentially something very similar to the concept of destiny or divine destiny, where it's like the highest potential that a person or a thing can achieve is what a personal legend is in relation to, yeah, like it's where it exists in an exalted or majestic state of beauty in another dimension. Like it can meet that dimension in this reality as well. So, yeah, I hope that was clear enough, but it's similar to a divine destiny that
Yeah,
we. Hmm.
beautiful.
Hmm.
Paul asks, do the transmutations usually happen on the first go? Or if an emotion is particularly dense or ingrained, do you have to alchemize more than once? Great question, Paul. Thank you.
Yeah. So, what was the first part of the question? Showing.
Do the transmutations happen right away the first time, or do you find yourself having to go back into and work with particular emotions again?
I think it depends. It's both. So, if it's something that we have had challenges with for a long time, it's usually going to take multiple times to transmute. But if it's like anxiety that's happening for no apparent reason, it can just take one session or less. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm.
And I think the thing with the emotions and what I've learned is that emotions are more often than not tied to the beliefs because the beliefs were programmed into our operating system based off of a painful experience that we don't want to have happen again, right?
Yeah.
So when you're working with a particular desire manifestation, certain emotions are going to arise around that, right? But then if you work with a different desire and manifestation, maybe different emotions will arise and might be, or well, the same emotions might arise, but tied to different maybe beliefs or different fears or different things that are preventing. And then also the other thing I've in my experience, and maybe you can relate to this too, is that, I remember the first time I was afraid to publicly speak. And I did a bunch of alchemy around that. But the bigger the stages get, doesn't mean that I don't feel fear or still have that. It's like it's almost like layers, right? It is. It's just layers. It's like the onion. We only I also just saw it where we could, if we processed it all at once, then it would fry our system. And so sometimes it's like the titration. Sometimes the emotions will come up as they're ready to be released and in layers. And so you may come up against that same fear in the same situation, but it might be a little bit less. And there might be even deeper layers that you may be processing. So I don't know. Do you also kind of notice that too with your work?
Yeah. Well, I've noticed that um, what can help us shift most quickly is identity shifting. So at the same time that we do the transmutation and clearing of the layers, I've found that it's also helpful to, for example, identify as a person who loves to make love to the fear and to the anxiety when it comes to public speaking, for example.
I like that.
Uh, so yeah, so then that can add to the identity of like, I'm so grateful that um, I am a public speaker that just allows the divine to flow through him, something like that. And I noticed that as I said it, I was like, wow, that sounds so true. Some of my affirmations aren't about public speaking. Um, I will say my affirmations are about the four archetypes from the book King, Magician, Warrior, Lover. So those are the four.
Okay.
And I say that to myself almost every day that like I am the king of my reality, for example. Basically meaning that I am the divine chooser of what I prefer to experience.
Mhm.
So when I see something I don't like, it's like, oh, I don't have to get mad about it. I can just realize that I can choose what I prefer over this experience. And that's what that means. I'm the magician of my divine destiny. I'm the warrior of my sacred purpose. I'm the lover of my beloved goddess. And so yeah, that's how I do divine decrees. Instead of affirmations, I like to say they're divine decrees
That's
because
what
it
I call
uh,
them. They are decrees, even that, right? Even the word decree, we are deciding and declaring out loud that this is what we choose. And there really are incredibly magic. I mean, no, it, what do you choose? We inform through our choice how we show up. So yeah, I love decrees. And I think they're very revealing because as you utilize decrees, you can feel the resistance in sometimes the decree. Sometimes you might say, I am the master of my reality. And you're like, ooh,
Some resistance.
that's about 90% there, but there's
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know about that. Just a little tiny something, something that says, nope, 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 no, you're not. Nice try.
exactly. Yeah, and then there's opportunity for transmutation there into
Yep.
making it beautiful. So
So
yeah,
that being said, now that you guys have gotten a little taste of what our brother Edgar's about, he has, you're not prepared. It's just something that you offer, and it's just really beautiful. I want to call it Gaia tree now,
yeah, let's
but
do that. Gaia tree.
yeah, the Gaia tree meditation. He's got a beautiful, he's going to guide us through a practice if you guys are down for that, which I know you guys are. So I'm going to mute myself and let you take it away if that feels good.
Yeah, that sounds good. Hmm. So I'll pre-frame this exercise before we begin by saying that this was originally called the Mother Tree meditation. And the reason it's called the Mother Tree meditation is because within every area of forest or land where there's trees, there is one tree that volunteers and is also assigned by the community of trees to be the space holder, also known as the mother tree. And the mother tree is the one tree that holds space for all the trees and all the plants, all the animals, and all the humans. And so when it comes to this meditation, and why we're going to call it the Gaia tree meditation, is because we are all part of Gaia, and our divine self knows our relationship to Mother Gaia. And how this can help us is that by connecting with our divine self through our heart and imagining a light from above, we can allow ourselves to connect with the tree, the mother tree, I mean, or the Gaia tree, that would resonate the most with us to feel safe and a sanctuary space. So, with that said, we will begin. I invite you to gently close your eyes and put your right hand over your heart, your left hand over your sacral chakra. And with your eyes closed, I invite you to take some nice, deep, and cleansing breaths. Feel so soothing to your system, comforting as you hold space for yourself. And whenever you're ready, I invite you to just imagine or visualize all of the trees that surround where you live, or all your favorite trees that your awareness is bringing you to. And as you take these nice deep breaths and visualize all these trees, I invite you to connect to your heart, center the light in your heart, as well as the light from above, the divine, the most beautiful light. It could be the sun, it could be the galaxy, or the stars. And allow all of those energies to flow down into your head as your connection to your divine self begins to get stronger and stronger. And as you focus on these energies and the trees that you're visualizing, I invite you to tell your divine self to, you can say, take me to the mother tree. And it works even better if you say it out loud. Take me to the mother tree. And just allow yourself to notice subtle shifts or not so subtle shifts as you allow yourself to go into the mother tree, the sanctuary where you feel more at peace than you may have ever imagined was possible, more comforted, more held than you might have thought could happen for you. And as you allow yourself to go into a deeper state of relaxation, into the mother tree, you can also notice how there might be pillows or blankets that have your favorite textures of comfort and love, appreciation, appreciation from your divine self, and the mother tree that they feel for you, what Mother Gaia feels for you. You can even allow yourself to explore the roots of the mother tree with your consciousness, explore the leaves and the trunk. Notice how wonderful and magical that feels. And whenever you're ready, you can begin to feel it back into your body, shifting your awareness back into your body, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, and allowing yourself to gently open your eyes as you allow the connection to the mother tree to stay with you. Welcome
Such
back.
a, yeah, such a beautiful, simple practice that I find just lands me in my body.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm here. I'm present. I'm grounded.
Mm,
How did you guys enjoy that? That was not my first time experiencing that from Edgar. It's a different way to ground, isn't it? For those of you who are used to grounding through our own personal grounding cord, right?
yeah.
Awesome, Gladius. Fucking rad. Amber says, I loved it.
uh,
Amazing. So good. So good. Oh, awesome. Thank you so incredibly much, Edgar. I'm gonna have actually let me go ahead. I know Alondra, you're a little challenged over there on your phone, which is totally fine. But here, I'm gonna drop in the chat all the ways in which you can connect with Edgar. You've got his website, Linktree, his Instagram, and then he is gifting you guys his 5 pillars of co-creation.
mm-hmm.
And you talked a little bit about the first pillar. So if you were excited to get the rest of the steps, there you go.
But
Liana says, loved visualizing the mother tree. Paul, amazing. It was beautiful. Amazing banyan tree in Maui. Yeah. Ooh, I
hmm
visited that tree personally as well. It's gorgeous. So happy to know that it was still standing after the fires. That was one of the first things I checked. I was like, the tree.
mm,
Eleanor says, thank you. That was very different. Yeah, it is. It's a different way to ground and anchor into the body. And it's really beautiful. So thank you so much, Edgar. I appreciate you infinitely and vastly.
yeah.
Was beautiful.
Mm. Yeah, I also and I'm offering free sessions. So I think I have a link in my link tree in my Instagram if you want to reach out and
Awesome.
do a 1 hour free session. So yeah,
Amazing. If you guys enjoyed this experience, if you like Edgar and his energy and what he has to share, if you're curious about more magic and conscious co creation and manifestation, then I invite you to click through his links and, yeah, get in his world. Thank you so much. Pat, you're going to find it in his link tree, the website. If you see the website, connect with Edgar here. His website, if you click there, it'll take you to there'll be a link in there, right, Edgar? Is that what you said on your link tree? You have a link in there?
so I meant my Instagram. I hope I have the connection to my Instagram there. But I meant yeah, like
Oh, well,
the
I shared the Instagram too. I shared your Instagram, your website, and your free gift in the chat.
oh, perfect. All right. Awesome. Thank you.
So where is the link to get in your calendar, Paul?
Yeah, it's in the Instagram.
Perfect. Okay.
My link in bio. That's what it is.
Awesome. Easy enough.
Mm,
Paul, if
yeah.
you still have trouble getting it, let me know and we'll send it directly or have him send it or we'll send it directly over to you. Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wait, what light do you have shining from the side? Do you just look
It's,
like you could leave these angel aura like fly over here?
it's the sun.
Is that the sun? That's the
Yeah.
sun. Amazing. It just looks so beautiful. It's coming
Hey,
through in just a really gorgeous way.
it's like the perfect time of day for it. It only happens at around this time. So
Really?
like
Oh, well, I feel so special that we were able to witness it. I don't know if it's been the whole time, but all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, I just noticed these sunbeams, this beautiful aura coming from the window.
yeah, I should have said it's my aura.
It look right. He's got an angel hanging out in the corner, but doesn't want to be seen on camera. The golden hour, right, Kiki? Yes.
I love that song by the way. It's so good.
Golden hour. Yeah. Awesome, you guys. Well, we're going to bring up our next speaker. Let's remove the spotlight here. Ah, Gladius Sovereign. I'm so excited. This is better for me. I like to spotlight. There we go. There we go. There we go. I'm going to read your bio so they can get a little snippets into your world. So you guys, this is Gladius Sovereign. Gladius created the intentional deprogramming and the sovereign mind method to help awaken entrepreneurs to dissolve limiting beliefs on command. He climbs. Oh, I love this. I didn't read this. He climbs, he cuddles, and he walks around nature thinking about stuff in Austin, Texas. Why do I love that in your bio so much? That's amazing. Oh,
Mhm.
this man's incredible, you guys. He's helped over 1,000 people change their lives, and he is here to hand you the tools to peace and freedom like a gift. There you go, my loves. Awesome. Oh, I'm so glad to have you here.
Hmm. Honor to be here. Thanks so much, Lacey.
Of course, it's a pleasure. I mean, how could I not invite you to be a part of an event that is 3 years going now, but quite literally is designed for this exact intention of what you birth and the process that you've created. He is here to support you guys. The sovereign mind method is a method to cancel, clear, delete the limiting beliefs within our operating system. And I had an wonderful session, two, kind of mini sessions actually with him. And it's funny because the skeptic in me The skeptic in
Hmm.
me wanted to, I was curious because Gladius does say we're going to go from where we're at to zero. And I measure, you guys know I measure and I use my body dowsing and I was able to tune in and I was like, these limiting beliefs were for me like a 9 or a 10. They were really strong. And in one session with him, they came down to a zero. And again, the curious skeptic in me was like, well, it's been a week. Let's see where we're at. And sure enough, we were still at zero. That belief
Yes.
still it had been decharged to a zero, meaning zero resistance. And I'm excited for you guys to hear more about his methodology and how he does this because it's really quite genius. It's really quite genius. It is. It is.
Thank you, Lacey. I couldn't ask for a more glowing endorsement to get the conversation started. I'm an open book. I'm thrilled to share everything and my very best with you guys.
Awesome. I'm glad. Well, let's get started. Just before we get into the method itself, I would love to just hear a little bit about you. What it's always such a it's those one of those questions, especially if you're a coach, a mentor, or somebody who talks often. We can find ourselves telling the same stories over and over again. So I don't necessarily want to what feels like most alive to share as it relates to your own journey with beliefs, right? I can assume that you were uncovering the
Totally.
limitations to
Oh,
your
yeah.
own life, and you're like, well, now that I've found this technique and created this modality in service to me, I want to bring it out into the world and help others. But how did you get there?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that I'll choose to be a little bit playful and creative in how I tell the story this time and see if I
Great.
can share it from a new perspective. So I see myself as someone who has a high degree of innate competence, who finds the deepest level of satisfaction and joy and fulfillment from being in deep and meaningful connection with other people and being in help and being in service to other people. And I think that when I was a kid, what feels true for me is that I am and was a fucking radiant golden ball of light and love and energy that also, due to the environment and circumstances that I believe my perspective is that I chose to experience 100% of everything in my life, including what I perceived at the time as abuse and adversity and adverse childhood experiences. Um, I created that experience set and reality set for myself so that I could have that hero's journey and that inner alchemy practice through my own healing journey, like what Edgar was talking about, that inner alchemy. Um, and what's true for me is that I took on a lot of my father's anger when I was growing up. He didn't have these kinds of tools that we're going to talk about today to be able to address and resolve his own traumas. And he would blow up in anger at the smallest possible thing. And like any self-preserving, intelligent child might conclude, oh, well, there must be something wrong with me. I'm clearly not good enough and I'm not worthy and I don't deserve his love. And so that's the core imprint that I took on into my own belief system that fueled my self image, my self esteem for many years and even decades to come. But on the flip side of that, I developed a high achiever mentality and I'm a go-getter and I'm going to do great in academics and I'm going to win the regional competitions and I'm going to succeed in sales and start my own businesses and all these things. And I lived in this split mental landscape for the longest time, which was that deep down, I'm a worthless, undeserving piece of shit. That's the only way that I could possibly make sense of what I was treated and how I experienced myself, or so I believed at the time. And on the flip side, I'm highly competent, I'm successful, look how cool and awesome I am, and all these things. And that split, that inner split and division drove me into deep depression multiple times as I was attempting and intending to be successful as an entrepreneur. And I repeated this same pattern, and I wonder how many of you might be able to relate in your own business, in your own career, of reaching a breaking point level of success pretty early on, like within the first several months of the business, scaling to the point where, oh, I have a six-figure run rate. And yet, right at this point, suddenly I'm doubting myself. Suddenly I'm feeling sad and afraid. Suddenly I'm feeling depressed. I'm losing my will. I'm losing my motivation to keep going and keep putting in the work and sustaining my attention on my intention, which is fundamentally required for anything to come into manifestation. So I went through that process several times, and I reached this point when I was in my mid 20s, and I'm running a sales consulting practice, and I'm helping startup founders grow and build their first sales team, because that's what I did for the company Toggle Track. It's a time tracking software company many of you might be familiar with. And I was delivering like 80% of my expectations, finding it just like this slog and grind to build somebody else's ship. And there was parts of me that are like, God damn, I want to build my own ship, but I just this isn't it. This isn't aligned. I'm burnt out, and I just don't know where to go. And I had this breakthrough moment. I'll never forget it. I realized for the very first time that there is no way to achieve myself out of my inner sense of unworthiness. That was never going to happen. It did not matter what accolades, what experiences in any realm, business, finance, women, whatever, that was never going to happen. I can't achieve my way out of my internal story, my internal reality of feeling unworthy. And that simultaneously broke me, and it simultaneously made me choose to find a solution. It made me choose to realize that, oh, it's kind of probable with like 7.5 billion people on the planet at the time that someone on Earth at some point has like solved the problem of limiting beliefs. And I'm willing to bet that if I just decide to stop believing that I'm unworthy, that God, the universe will take care of the rest. So I put that presupposition to the test, and I made the free will decision. I said, I'm going to find help. And I was led through synchronicity, couldn't have planned it the way that it unfolded, but ultimately through a high ticket coaching program called MindFix. And at the time, I can't speak to what modalities they're using today, but at the time, they took me through a belief elimination process that I later found out was developed in the 1990s by a brilliant genius named Morty Lefko. And they had adapted this process. And I experienced it for the first time. And I was working with this coach that I affectionately came to know as Uncle Stav, because he's just a great guy. And all that we did in the course of these sessions is we sat down, he had me feel into the emotional energy and charge that was associated with my limiting beliefs that I am not safe, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve love, I am unworthy. Had me feel into the emotional charge of these beliefs. And then he just asked me questions. And I could feel the emotional energy of that belief drain out of my physical body. It no longer made sense logically in my mind. It no longer made sense emotionally in my body. And I was like, what? That's a thing that can happen? Why doesn't everyone in the entire world know about this? I'm standing up taller. I'm feeling stronger. I'm literally lighter. My friends are reflecting back to me, Glad, you look like you're doing great. What changed in you? And I'm like, I feel safe. like, like, and it was just so obvious to me that like, wow, is there is there anything that I would rather do than make this process even simpler, even easier, even more easy for you to access in your everyday life so that nobody is held back by these old stories, these old identities. Is there anything I would rather do than that? No. Well, okay. Well, here I am. Yeah, it's like, hundreds and hundreds of sessions, easily 1,000 people helped at this point. And it's like, what I have done, and it's a bold claim, and I welcome and invite your skepticism, and I'll take you through an experience that I hope can have it all click and make a little more sense. What I've done is I've studied and I've synthesized all of the greatest bodies of work when it comes to belief and identity transformation that I've studied in my life. Lion Goodman, Morty Lefkoe, Brian Ridgway, Byron Katie, you name it. I've condensed all of that, and my own channel has continuously been receiving divine insights and whatnot to synthesize it into something very special and new. And the idea, what I operate from is this, is that you have complete free will and command to choose your beliefs and choose your identity. Every single belief is ultimately just a choice. And just like a building can take 10,000 man hours to construct and it can live for 100 years, as long as no one chooses to hit the demo button, poof. Well, how long does it take to, so that's the framing, right? It's like 10,000 man hours to build the building. It can live for 100 years. You can hit the demo button, poof, and the entire building collapses in 10 seconds. The same is true with the structure of your belief. You might say to yourself, well, I've felt this way for 10, 20, 30 years. There's no way I could possibly, quote unquote, get rid of it. Not that that's the goal, but there's no way I could possibly alchemize it for real permanently in like an hour or 10 minutes or 10 seconds. That's not possible. Change takes a long time. Everyone knows that. That's not the paradigm that we're operating from anymore. You really can be free from that. And I look forward to sharing how that works.
So good. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. That was a full-blown transmission and it was absolute perfection. Thank you for giving us a peek into your world and what you've navigated to get to where you are today in the process. And I love that because the synthesis, me and that word don't get along.
Synthesis.
Synthesis, the synthesize, but it's the synthesization, that word. I can't, the synthesis of
You got it.
all of which you have studied. And I really believe that so many of us, that's what we're doing these days. We're taking all of these amazing tools and we're kind of taking it and then making it our own and making it more impactful and more effective. And also what I really adore is that, and I'm amazed that this work was from the 90s, that they were recognizing then that the
Yeah.
beliefs, again, are not in and of themselves. You can't just work on affirmation, surface level affirmations, and just declare, declare, decree, decree. You have to go down into the emotion.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I actually have a view and a definition of beliefs that
Mm.
beliefs are not just a thought about reality that you think is true. That's not what a belief actually fundamentally is. Metaphysically, a belief is an intention that is fueled by your life force energy that defines how you perceive and experience reality. I'll say that again. A belief is an intention that you have fueled with your divine life force energy that defines how you perceive and experience reality. So, a simple way to say it is that beliefs don't just make logical sense. If they did, you would just go, aha, it's not true that I'm not worthy. And that would be the end of the story. But we've all had the experience, I certainly have at least, maybe speak for myself instead of all, um, of knowing that shit is not true, but
Mhm.
still feeling it in my body. And so beliefs don't just make logical sense, they make emotional sense. They're tied to the energy that we've invested into it. And any process that's going to get the result of fully clearing that has to operate not just at the logical level, but at the experiential level to dissolve the emotional energy.
Yeah, I love that. I've never heard anything quite like that as it relates to a belief being an intention in which we put our own energy into. And it makes so much sense that it would be a lens. I kind of see it as like a filter
Yes.
through which we're filtering all of reality. And something that you haven't yet mentioned, but you did touch on it a little bit as it related to your experience with your first coach, your uncle, what was it?
Uncle Stav.
Uncle Stav. Uncle Stav. Where was Uncle Stav from? That name Stav.
Gosh, at the
That's very
time he was in Spain, but I'm not sure that
okay.
that's necessarily where he was from. But yeah.
Okay. Uncle Stav. So this is something else that was like for me when working with you and as it relates to your methodology. And I don't know if I've actually ever heard this word nonsensical.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I know that that's
Yeah.
part, and that word just popped into my head. I'm like, oh, yeah, nonsensical. And I've seen you make posts about that too. So let's share a little bit about that aspect of what you
Mm,
experienced and
yeah.
this work.
Great idea. Great idea. Great idea. I love that. And I love you. Thank you. Okay. So here's the basic idea is that like I'll just is it okay if I like share an experience of nonsense with everyone?
Yeah. I like that.
Okay, awesome.
Even better. Don't tell us, show us.
Okay. So I'm gonna invite you to say some words out loud that you and I both know you don't freaking believe. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If it doesn't make any sense, it's nonsense. And so just like notice how does it feel to say something completely silly and absurd out loud, such as, I am 513 trippin' penguins. How does it feel to say that? I am 513 trippin' penguins.
Tripping.
And
I was like, what word did he say? Was that
they
tripping? It
tripping.
was.
These penguins,
I
they tripping.
I am 500. Say it out loud, you guys. I am 513 tripping penguins. Man, my penguins are on mushrooms and psychedelics
Oh
because
boy. And just like here's another these aren't intended to make any sense. What happens if you say I am hippopotamus divided by yellow?
I am a hippopotamus divided by yellow.
And just drop in the chat anyone who cares to share like how experientially how does it feel in your body to say nonsensical things that you don't believe, that carry no emotional charge, no weight. How does it feel to
Can
say
you
it?
say
Is
it
it
without smiling, or is that just me? Am I the only one that has to like laugh at what I'm saying? Meaningless, nothing, silly, no change, made up,
yeah.
pretty
Yeah, yeah.
neutral.
Exactly.
So good.
Exactly. So experientially, that's what nonsense feels like. If you don't believe it, if it doesn't make any sense to you, you don't ascribe any meaning to it, it doesn't carry any heavy emotion or charge inside of your physical body. Now, Lacey, is it okay if I share the contrast that makes that definition of nonsense so important?
Please, yes.
So, with open curiosity, no expectation as to what actually will unfold for you, just notice what happens if you say the words out loud, I am not enough.
I am not enough. Mm, I am not enough.
Not enough. And some say there's a slight charge, others say a little heavy. And I'm sure there's someone in this call that is also nonsense. It's also neutral. That may not happen to be a belief that you carry, right? There's a sense of rejecting it, like, no, it's not true. Yep, yep, yep. Of course, of course. Now, here's what's interesting. Notice the ever so subtle change in your experience that happens if you say, for example, I am not good enough.
Mm, I am not good enough. I am not good enough.
Yeah, the throat became constricted. There's a hit in the gut. There's a stomach drop. Totally, totally natural, totally understandable.
A lot in the stomach, which I think is interesting, right? Gut,
Yeah,
stomach, and gut, all
right.
right
The
there.
kind of in this the power center, the pleasure center, that same kind of
Like
region, right?
like a punch in the stomach. Like,
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. So just notice that that particular belief carries some degree of resonance in your field. You may logically know that it's not true. And I'm in agreement with you. Like, I know it's not true that you're not enough. You're the infinite creator of the entire universe having a divine human fractalized aspect of God experience. It's like, I know that you're not quote unquote not good enough. That's not a thing.
mm-hmm.
But because up until now we haven't known how to actually dissolve these belief structures, there it is. And so now that we've become self-aware of some of these beliefs, we can actually make a free will decision in this moment to let it go. And Lacey, I'd love to hear your next question. There's plenty more that I could walk people through, but let's keep the conversation rolling.
No, I just think that's an incredibly powerful practice for so many reasons. One, it's helping people become in tune to how their body's consistently communicating to them. Our body communicates
Yeah,
through sensations.
that's right.
Sensations are often easier to recognize even before emotions. And so when you get into the body and asking and noticing the body and what it does and what it's doing and how it's in resistance to, another thing that's really fantastic about that practice and what I didn't expect to experience myself was how the slight change in the word and phrasing makes huge difference. And I can
Yes.
share with you guys an example. For me, you may have noticed a slight difference between I am not enough and I'm not good enough. I can notice the difference in my body. And for me, it was worthless versus I am not worthy. I am not
Right.
worthy was really kind of low. I was like, I know I'm worthy. Of course I'm worthy. But then I started to rephrase it. And I was like, what about I'm worthless? And that was a huge charged one for me. And I was so
Yep.
surprised. And even and so even the not enoughness or I'm not good enough for me, we worked on this as well, was I am bad. So for me, it wasn't necessarily as charged that I am not good enough. Although but even then you can say, you can get more specific. What are you not good enough around? Right. And then
Can.
see how
Yep.
that feels in your body. So I just think this practice is incredible when you can alter, change, and really notice the shifts and differences. And so many of you here know dowsing, body dowsing. You have tools available to also test and feel into the extremity. You can do it on a scale of 1 to 10 and ask,
Hmm.
like, how intense is this belief for me? How ingrained in my system is this belief for me? 1 or 0 being nothing, and 10 being, you know, this is my
Yeah.
identity.
This is a life-defining identity. Yep. If
Mm-hmm,
it's a 10 out
mm-hmm.
of 10, that's what that means.
Yeah.
Totally, totally. Yeah. And something else too that came to mind is like, some people have the belief I am bad. Others go, that's not it. I am a bad person, right? Like there's so many little subtles and nuances as you begin to awaken into this reality that like, oh, I created 100% of my beliefs and they're spelled in the language that made the most sense to me when I was a kid, having that
Mm.
traumatic experience. In that moment, I created the interpretation of what that experience was. Dad, in my case, there's an image of dad looking like he's about to hit me. And in that moment, I concluded I am not safe. Makes perfect sense for a kid to conclude that. But we have to also notice that we tend to identify with our beliefs. This is why we can be very protective and defensive around political, religious debate and discussion, is because those are challenging some of the deepest beliefs that we've identified with, except for those aren't actually your deepest beliefs. These beliefs that we're talking about now, the ones that you created in order to stay safe in an insane world when you were a kid, those tend to be the deepest beliefs. And look at how these beliefs are actually phonetically spelled. You might notice a pattern that a lot of your most strongly charged limiting beliefs tend to start with the words, I am. I am. That's identification. And so, if we get into the actual nuts and bolts of intentional reprogramming and the sovereign mind method, we address two layers primarily. One is the actual definition layer. I'll explain what that means in a moment. And the other is the identification layer of the belief. So every belief that you have that starts with I am, you've identified with that. You've wrapped your sense of self around that belief. And even if logically not true, not true, I resist it, get away, doesn't matter. That identity is going to be all pervasive until you make the free will decision to disidentify with it. And we're talking about in this conversation divine decrees. You could say that the sovereign mind method is actually a programmatic set, a predetermined set of divine decrees that empower you to dissolve 100% of that belief's energetic charge out of your physical, mental, and emotional body and allows you to disidentify from that belief completely, that cuts ties at pretty much all other observable levels of existence. If you're no longer carrying that identity, um, that spell is broken.
Mhm. And I love how you also brought it back to the energy of it, right? It's like you're removing the life force that you've been infusing into this belief, and therefore it has no purpose. It serves no purpose. It just falls away, or the explosion. There's just no need for it. And often I find the safety that you mentioned, right? All the beliefs were created. I also didn't. Yeah, thank you. The fact that the beliefs were created from the inner child, therefore in the language of the inner child, I was like, oh, of course, that makes so much sense. The language of a child for me would
Yeah.
be very simplistic. I am bad. That's very
Yeah,
simplistic and very just,
totally.
yeah. And it is, and I'm excited for them to get to experience, because I think they'll then get to see even how the nonsensical aspect comes
Mhm.
into that, because that makes it really playful as well. And it, yeah, it just, it's a really beautiful way to bring to notice how little that belief impacts you. Or and you had mentioned the two layers. Can you repeat those again? You had said the identity, and what was the other one?
Let's unpack this a little bit.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
the definition layer and the identity layer.
Okay.
So, if you have studied or listened to Bashar at all, he's always hammering, hammering, hammering. That's just a definition. It's the definition that you're superimposing upon your experience that is causing the limiting belief system to have roots in your system. You need to fix the definition. When you change your definition, suddenly you change your perception of the experience into more of
Mm.
what you prefer, right? So
That was probably verbatim too. Thank you for
I,
the voice was great.
happy to channel Bashar every now and then, y'all. Um, so so the idea here is actually really simple. If you didn't know what not enough meant, you would not know what not enough feels like, looks like, or sounds like. If you just didn't know what the fuck not enough even was, you had no definition for that at all, it couldn't have any charge. It couldn't have any power over you. It's you're baking in meaning into that concept and you're investing your faith into that concept. And we know that beyond a shadow of doubt because if you say the words out loud, I am not Ishmuff, you don't have any charge. Ishmuff is not a definition that you believe in, but not enough or not good enough. Those are definitions you believe in. So we clear those definitions. We say, I undefine all definitions of I am not good enough. That's the first layer.
And that, and okay, so now I'm noticing too how that kind of creates the nonsensical aspect, because
Yeah.
after you've undefined the word, then it becomes googly gloop, by the
Yeah, it makes no
time,
sense.
like what is enough at this point, like.
Right. You preserve the intellectual understanding of what the concept is.
Mhm.
The spoken commands that we offer just dissolve the experiential and emotional energy out of your definition so that you're no longer misallocating your life force energy into that spell.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm curious if we can talk, or if you could share a little bit about, the power of commands, the spoken word,
Yes.
and why they're so effective.
Okay. So we've talked about the idea of divine decrees. My word for that is just spoken intention or spoken command. And the idea behind it is really simple. There's only one moment, and that's now. Reality is a byproduct of your intention fueled by your attention or life force energy. So everything that you create, everything that you actually physically see around you literally is a byproduct of someone's intention. This required intention to create, this required intention to create. If you look in the mirror, Two people had to have sex. That required intention to create. Everything requires intention to create, and everything, even in the natural material universe, the genetic code is an encoding of intention. When sunlight hits this chemical, this process unfolds and then it grows into a fucking tree. So everything is intention. You have the power to speak intention into creation. When you do so, the effect, the energetic impulse of your intention is cast broadly into the universe, and literally has almost like you can imagine a sonic ripple. That's what's happening physically, sonically, but at the level of energy, once you speak your intention into creation, the only time possible for that intention to take place is now. So if you carefully define an intention and speak that with sincerity, you can use the power of your spoken command to create change in your internal experience. Can I give another example of that?
Please, please do.
Okay. Just notice what happens with playful curiosity. If you if you want, you can close your eyes, you can keep your eyes open, whatever feels comfortable and safe for you. But just notice what happens if you say the words out loud, and I'm going to choose to close my eyes. I welcome in the feeling of love.
I welcome in the feeling of love.
How
Mm.
does that feel?
Did you guys feel your hearts open? I
Yeah. I'd love to
did.
hear in the chat. What you
Yeah,
guys?
share what you experienced. Did you feel any shifts, albeit subtle or
It'll vary from person to person. Some of you
yeah?
probably felt expanded. Some of you may have felt contracted. There could be some limiting beliefs
Mm-hmm.
of I'm not worthy of love. I don't deserve love. Love isn't real. And that's perfectly okay. Just share what was your authentic experience? Some heart opening and expansion. Good, good.
I like
Heart
this one.
warmed and
I
opened.
felt at home, Eleanor says. I like that one. I
Felt
felt at
great.
home.
Heaven, yes. Yeah. So this is an example about how your spoken intention, your command, can actually create an instantaneous energetic shift in your internal experience. And what I do, I teach people how to use their spoken command, their spoken intention to instantaneously dissolve limiting belief structures. That's essentially what the sovereign mind method and what intentional reprogramming center around.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. And if I can add like just a tiny piece of how I perceive it too, all of what you
Yeah, yeah.
said, and you've added additional color to my own
Please. Yeah,
experience.
yeah. Thank you.
Um, First there was the word. And we know that the word, sound, frequency, cymatics creates and informs the physical reality. So when we speak out loud, there's this powerful vibration that again informs creation. So I'm we have many times have we said how important it is to speak our prayers, our commands, our intentions, whatever it is out loud with the spoken word.
Heaven, yes. Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I do believe were you going to potentially guide or offer or let us kind of experience the method in its totality now that we've kind of precursored into yeah, yeah.
Yes, I'd love to. I'd really love
Awesome.
to.
Awesome. Awesome. Beautiful.
I'll add a
Are you
little.
guys ready? Do you guys want to experience a little bit more from
Yeah,
our
that's
dear
that's
friend?
great. Let's get an opt-in here. Does anyone want to
Yeah,
experience
yeah.
this love?
That's something I've noticed about
Hmm.
you that I really appreciate is that you ask for permission. And I think there's something really beautiful about that. And receiving of that yes is really it's powerful. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Lots of yeses. So I
All
think
right,
we're
great, great. We
good.
could do it. We could do it. We could do it. Okay. So, let's see. I'm gonna close my eyes. You can feel free to do the same. I'm going to speak a command for my own benefit as a facilitator, and I will start with higher mind. present the optimal sequence of intent for all who are in attendance today to experience just the right level of freedom from just the right limiting beliefs with ease, harmony, and grace, perfectly aligned with their highest life path. Thank you. All right. So let's begin an experience. And what I would really, really love, you guys, I'll keep my eyes closed to this just so that I can stay present to my emotions, sensations. And again, I invite you to keep your eyes open if that's what feels safe for you. Keep your eyes closed if that's what feels safe for you. Um, but I would love for us to all start with this intention of opening the heart and sending a subtle current of appreciation and safety to everyone who is here in this container. And whether you're participating or just watching, you're included. We want to send you love, we want to send you safety. And let's just take a moment to send love and safety to everyone present right now. I now want to speak to the art of staying present. There could be some part of you that might be thinking, oh, I want to jot down and take notes and remember and do all these things. And what I would offer you as a perspective is, could it be possible that the best possible thing that we can do is just have the direct experience, is just allow the experience to unfold in the most natural and effortless way. And if you're meant to remember certain things, your subconscious will take care of that. You can rest easy, you can be fully present. And I'll be setting my intention now to be fully present throughout this experience. And I invite you to do the same. Set the intention to be fully present now. Now, everyone here is going to have the opportunity to process a different belief. We're going to select the belief and we're going to enroll the help of your higher mind. That's my word for your higher self, right? We're going to have your higher mind just present to you exactly what belief is optimal for you to let go of now for your highest good. And when I'm offering the commands, I'll keep on saying the words this belief, right? But that's my generic fill in for the command. What I would love for you to do is just replace my words, this belief, with whatever your belief is, whether it's I'm not worthy, I'm not capable, it's not safe to be seen, people don't like me, I am unlovable. No matter what your belief is, just replace my words of this belief with whatever your chosen belief is that you would like to let go of. All right, let's enjoy 3 yawns now. Yawning is my favorite tool to reset stagnant or stuck energy in the body. And you can keep your eyes closed or keep them open. But I want to invite you to just stretch your arms fully and allow 3 spontaneous yawns, real or fake, it doesn't matter. Just let those move and allow any stuck energy to just gently and lovingly clear. That's a great one. Good job. Do it again. And one more yawn. All right. That should feel a little better. Thank you. So, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to enroll the higher mind to help us figure out what belief you might be ready to let go of today. And I invite you to repeat these words out loud. It's very helpful when you say them out loud and not in your mind. That involves your physical body in your intention and helps focus your focus, right? So, I invite you to repeat these words out loud. Higher mind, present the optimal belief for me to safely let go of that I am 100% ready to let go of now. higher mind present the optimal belief for me to safely let go of, that I am 100% ready to let go of now. Just allow that belief to gently enter into the light of your awareness. And just make note of what it is. Everyone's going to be a little bit different, but this belief probably has been with you for some time and it's been a part of your story. And so let's just take a moment to extend compassion and appreciation to this story. You can say, thank you so much for being a part of my dream and a part of my story. I appreciate you for being with me for so long. And now, my core belief is that every single belief is a choice. And so I want to ask you a sincere question, which is, would you like to keep this belief or let it go now? And you can say out loud, I choose to let it go now, if that's your authentic choice. If it's your authentic choice to keep it, feel free to just watch along and keep extending love and appreciation. All of you is welcome here. And, you know, this work is always voluntary and only ever can happen when you're ready anyway. So, for those of you who choose to let it go now, thank you so much for your courage. And now I'll offer you the commands that will help you dissolve this belief. We begin, and I'll say this in two sections, and you can repeat after me. I undefine all definitions of this belief. Some of you believe that things need to be said 3 times. This is not true, but I will offer it anyway because a lot of people seem to believe that, so we can say it again. I undefine all definitions of this belief. I undefine all definitions of this belief. And some of you may notice a gentle energy lifting, a weight lifting. If so, congratulations, you've taken the first major leap of freedom. Others of you may notice a contraction, a resistance. If so, it's perfectly okay. Just welcome that part of you that doesn't want to let it go. And to this part of you, you can say, if there is one, if there's not, heaven, yes, be blessed. But if there is a part of you that maybe doesn't feel totally safe letting it go, the best thing that we can do together today is say this: thank you. I love you. I welcome and accept you exactly as you are. And I forgive you completely. Don't resist any subconscious parts. We welcome them into a dialogue. And when we have more time, we can unpack that further. But for now, we'll just proceed to the next intention. I invite you to repeat after me. This is where we liberate ourselves from the identity of this belief. And again, replace it. I'm not enough. You say, I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. You say, I'm not worthy. I'll continue saying this belief. I disidentify all identities of this belief. I disidentify all identities of this belief. I disidentify all identities of this belief. Take a deep breath in. Notice what that experience was like for you. Perhaps a massive shift, perhaps a subtle, subtle shift, perhaps a contraction. All of your experience is welcome here. It's okay. We'll now move on to the third and final intention, which is that of compassion and forgiveness. And for context, this is not only going to clear all of the self judgmental energies that you've held for keeping that belief for so long, but it's actually going to energetically and holographically imprint and clear the very definition, the very idea of whatever your limiting belief is out of the collective consciousness and the collective psyche. This is an individual and collective healing modality. And so I invite you to repeat after me. I'll break this into two parts. Once again, we say, I am compassion and forgiveness for all ideas of this belief. Once more, allowing yourself to feel the compassion. I am compassion and forgiveness for all ideas of this belief. I am compassion and forgiveness for all ideas of this belief. Just feel that compassion expanding, filling your heart center, expanding beyond your heart center, expanding to your whole physical body, expanding beyond your physical body, and compassion and forgiveness filling the room around you. Expanding beautifully beyond the room around you to the whole building, compassion filling the whole neighborhood, compassion filling your whole city, compassion filling your whole state, your whole country, the whole world, compassion filling the entire solar system, the galactic arm that we're in the Milky Way, compassion filling the Milky Way. Compassion filling all I am. And take the deepest breath of the day through your belly with gratitude. And release with ease. Thank you. Thank you for making the decision to let that go. It truly can be that simple. And feel free now to wiggle your toes, gently recenter yourself in the now moment in your body. And if it feels right, you can chuckle. Or if it feels right, you can be in silence for a moment with yourself. With no rush, whenever you want, you can open your eyes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I would love to hear from you guys if you feel called to share any piece around your experience.
Yeah, me too. Love to hear what that was like for you.
Ilana says, I love the newfound power that can bring.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Oh,
what you
heaven, yes.
experienced then, right? This power, this reclamation of your own personal power. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Thank you so much. Feeling fresh, awake, and freedom.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Mm,
Did you guys feel the shift? Did you
mm.
feel that energy leaving your body? Did you feel perhaps expansion? Did you even, perhaps you even felt maybe a little contraction and then expansion? I mean, everything is perfectly perfect.
Exactly right. Yeah, totally.
Energetic release as it rose up and out of the body. Awesome.
Exactly, Bentley. Exactly.
Bentley knows.
100%. So notice, everyone. This is the ultimate litmus test. You don't need to believe me. Like, you can let your body tell you the truth of your body. Like, what happens now when you say that same belief?
Say it out loud.
Say it out loud. Notice what happens. Bentley just beaming and laughing. That's great. That's great.
I want to scroll over and see.
Kiki says it's silly. Aaron says more brightness. Yeah, heaven, yes,
She is
exactly, you
laughing
guys.
over there. Bentley,
And
you're experiencing the same thing I experienced. There was this levity around it, and it became like it was not just nonsensical, but like really, really.
totally. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And this levity around like how could I ever believe such a thing, like how could I have ever chosen that as an identity, because it seems so silly. So silly.
Yeah.
Paul says higher self seemed to shift the chosen belief midway. Oh, I love that. So I tried to incorporate two limiting beliefs, and he says both feel gone.
Yeah, it is a more advanced concept and topic than I can go into today, but in the more advanced trainings, you can let go of more than one belief at a time. Really, the only limit, you guys, is our imagination. Like, we're in this age where what was previously occulted, intentionally hidden by the powers that used to be, this is all being open source. This is all
Mhm.
being brought into the light of our awareness. And the only thing that it takes to access it and live in this new paradigm is our choice. That's it. I now choose to disbelieve this. Poof.
I love how she is just beaming over there. Bentley, I'm curious, have you experienced Gladius and his work before, or is this completely new to you? This,
Can you hear me okay?
yeah,
This is actually the first time I've been introduced to Gladius. So this is the first time participating in this I am activation.
that is amazing. I
Cool.
love how intuitive you are, that you
Wow.
that you brought around the piece around the nonsensical again, like perfection. I was like, Gladius told her to say that. He brought her in here. No,
No.
Mm.
amazing. And look at your, I'm just joking. Obviously, I didn't really think that, but it was just too perfect. It was too perfect. And just witnessing your shift, your smile, and the levity in you, and having let that go. How does that feel?
It is a belief I've held on to my whole life. And just that we could have that one session, I can't believe that it just turned into laughter and nonsensical. Really, it's been something that it's a lesson I've needed to learn this lifetime. And thank you for the blessing and gifting that. I'm sure not only to me but to everybody here.
All I can say is,
Oh
Bentley,
my gosh.
thank you so much for choosing to give yourself that gift. Thank
Well,
you.
thank
It
you all for
takes,
offering the gift.
yeah, heaven,
Oh
yes.
my gosh.
Amazingness, absolute amazingness.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you got to have that experience. And I'm so glad, I'm really excited to see now how this new choice that you've been empowered with informs your life moving forward.
I'm looking forward to the same thing. I can't wait to see what happens with the soul and with the body just from releasing this belief.
Yes. And oh, thank you for saying that. It reminds me, Lacey, can I offer an integration practice?
Please, of course, integration is so crucial.
Excellent. So, when you clear a strong limiting belief like that, I always recommend like take good care of yourself for the next couple of hours. Like you don't have to do anything strenuous. You can put your feet in the grass. You can take a bath. You can take a walk in nature. Just follow whatever natural self-care practice feels really good and aligned to you. And then there's a couple of journaling prompts that I want to recommend. I'm just going to
Mm.
type them out. Focus on that for a sec.
Alondra also already dropped all of his links in there: website, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And he is offering a free copy of the Sovereign Mind Method. So, what he has led you through and an extension thereof. And this new version has images, right? You get an updated version. So, that is the very last link there. And so you can download that. And I mean, how many mentors, coaches, and beautiful, amazing beings that develop methodologies just gift you the method that they've created as he does. I mean, truly a heart-centered soul of that wants to just serve. Like you just want to serve. And you know that, and here's the thing too, we can learn the tools and then we can put them in our toys. And we can put them in our toy box. But the beautiful thing is that sometimes we do like to be guided. Sometimes the
Yes.
accountability, sometimes just being witnessed and held by other. And also, I believe, depending on your human design, I think that having somebody, a mirror, can be deeply and profoundly supportive. So if that is something that you seek, then I invite you to connect with him deeper, whether that be and I don't, do you prefer, you want to teach people these methodologies and
All day
more than,
long. Yeah,
yeah, more than
that's
you
my
want
life.
to guide them, right? Is that what kind of what?
Exactly. Thank you for speaking to that because I think that this is a really important philosophical distinction and just how I operate. So, um, my core belief is that it's 1,000 times more beneficial, not just for me, not just for you, not just for everyone that you know and love, but for literally the entire planet if I give you the tools to be able to practice and facilitate on this with yourself and with everyone that you love and care for. So the method itself is engineered to be so simple that anyone can learn how to practice it. And with sufficient time and training to be able to handle some of the edge cases and rough edges or whatever that may come up, you can be a conduit for channeling healing and love into the world, helping everyone that you care for break free from their limiting beliefs, their stuck identities. That's why we have group training programs that are dedicated to giving you the tools. And I extended an invitation as well, the link for the Belief Mastery Immersion. Um, this is a simple experience that you can participate in where we can train together on whatever is top of mind for you. Maybe you found some limiting beliefs in this session that you want some help and support with. Well, this is a safe container for you to be able to do that work with my guidance, my mentorship. And the other key pillar in everything I do is I believe in accessibility first and foremost. And so the book is free. The school community is free. Come do our free everything. My YouTube is free. I give it all for free. And if you want to take the first step in really doing the work one on one, it's $47. So it's like, if this is important to you, I've made it accessible to you, I welcome you, and we'd love to do it together.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh, Amber, look at you go, girl.
Ooh,
She
what's
just,
Amber got to say?
yeah. I'm going to read it out loud for everyone. So it says, wow, thank you so much for that. There was a deep place I found myself in. I think I might need to see what with the time difference because I feel yawning and felt like something's lifted away or dissolved within. But the word my higher mind said was shame. And that is something that doesn't seem so much like a belief, maybe, but an emotion. But I didn't really think I felt shame per se, but I think it's connected to areas as an aspect of me has kept myself hidden or imposter syndrome, things along those lines. Mm.
That makes perfect sense, Amber. Yeah. And something interesting to noodle on is that imposter syndrome is a surface level definition that's trying to describe an experience. And that experience that we're having might look like self doubt. It might look like a voice, an inner critic in your head that tells you you're not worthy, you don't deserve it, you're not capable, you can't do it. It can look like a bunch of different things to different people. And we're we're trying to describe a very broad set of experiences with this label that we call imposter syndrome. But no matter what your unique experience is, there's limiting beliefs that are at the core of that pattern, of that paradigm of imposter syndrome. And that surface level symptom that we call imposter syndrome disappears when you're not carrying those old stories and that old shame. So that's something that would totally be worth exploring.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Just
Oh, you're welcome, Eleanor.
reframe or observation of the imposter syndrome. And even beyond that, I love what Amber even is having to say because it goes hand in hand with what we've been speaking into the beliefs and the emotions and how they are intrinsically connected. And that's what we understand now. We talk about holistic for a reason. You really cannot separate your beliefs, your mind, your thoughts from your emotions, from your physical sensations in your body. We have to look at things holistically. And so when we do belief work, we get to work with the emotions. So it's interesting that shame came up for you. And I love that you honored that, even though it didn't feel, or rather, ooh, thank you, not feel, even though you didn't think that it was something that you needed to work upon or had maybe within you.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Like this experience is like an introduction into a truly different paradigm, one in which we awaken and we realize that, whoa, I have so much more free will to choose my internal experience than I previously imagined possible. Like up until now, like literally, you guys, like the year 2000 prior, not a lot of people doing belief work.
Hmm.
Not intentionally, certainly not in like a focused container that's intentionally curated to help accelerate your results so that you feel safe. And it's like, this is such an honor and a blessing to be alive now when these tools are being just distributed, just poof, mass evolution of consciousness, mass awakening of new possibilities, mass evolution. And I'm
Thank you,
just
Internet.
honored. Thanks, Internet.
Thank you, Internet. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
my divine team said. They were like, yeah, it's happening now because of the internet. And that what you're saying too really speaks to me in a deep way because I have remembrance of the esoteric of so many lives where we were the wisdom keepers because it had to be hidden because of the powers that be, because of the potentiality to be killed, because of what we were practicing. And so y'all, what a beautiful space that we live in. It brings tears to me to think that that no longer do we have to have mystery schools, that they don't have to be a mystery, that the modern day mystery school is open and we get to express it openly and invite people openly and we don't have to hide anymore. There's something so incredible about the time that we live in that we get to share and disseminate information like
Yeah.
this.
Lacey, you're literally a portal of that. Right. This experience is that. You are that. So it's beautiful.
It's amazing. It's amazing, you guys, that we're on this journey together. And I'm just deeply grateful for people like you, Gladius, that have embarked upon your own journey and navigated your own challenges, chosen, as we all choose in this container, also to believe that we chose those life experiences as the most perfect training ground for our greatest joy, bliss, fulfillment, and what we wanted and how we wanted to serve the world. And so thank you for what you chose to navigate in your life that brought you to this work, that and the mind in which you have to then again take all of these bodies that you studied and to bring it into such an incredibly simple yet potent practice. So you guys, if this was like something for you, this experience was really expansive, then I do invite you to get in his world, however you feel called to do so. You do have, I don't know if we've shared it right there, but you mentioned the online group, your container, your kind of, is that found just directly through your website for them to sign up?
Not yet. So we're in
Okay.
beta pilot launch. And so
Okay.
this is really like defining a new era for my business, Sovereign Mind. Like previously, I had done exclusively high ticket one-on-one stuff. I mean, like 10, 20K for entrepreneurs to hit new revenue ceilings and blah, 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 you know, that whole world. I liked doing that. It was extremely enriching and fulfilling to see results. But the more that I've done it, the more it's like I just get constant guidance and awareness that like, no, you got to slash the price down. You got to make it accessible and just do it in a way that has the maximum group impact. The right people will come at the right moment. Just trust. And so I'm like, okay. And I'm like, holy cow, two people already today, independent of this conversation, sign up for the program. And I'm like, all right, great. It's thanks God, it's working. Okay,
Amazing.
you're right.
I trust. I surrender.
Yeah,
Put it
yeah,
out there.
yeah.
Build it and they will come.
That works.
You build it and they will come. Amazing. Let me see if there's anything else in the chat. I got lost over there. Yes, awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Y'all are amazing. Blessings and gratitude from Kiki. She said to Lacey, Edgar, and Gladius, and everyone present and watching the replay. Thank you, darling. She truly feels free from her belief.
Heaven, yes. Bless you.
Heavens, yes. Oh, well, you guys, what a beautiful way to wrap up our week.
Happy
Everyone,
Friday.
I'm right. Like every one of you now gets to, I mean, this morning we were just embodying love and sending it out into the world and witnessing each other in love. And everyone's home play for the weekend is to share that love with everyone. And so, how beautiful now you get to show up in a totally new frequency and get to inform your reality this weekend as a beacon of love. How wonderful. How
So beautiful.
wonderful. Amazing. You guys, I'm so excited to see who you be after this weekend. When we come
Me
back
too.
together on Monday, right? We're going to come back together. And
Mhm.
Eleanor says, what a night. Amazing. You guys, thank you, Gladius, so incredibly much. It's such a pleasure. It's such an honor to have both you and Edgar sharing your bodies of work. Thank you both for holding space for me as you have. And yeah, I'm just excited to see where we all go from here.
Truly an honor and a blessing. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Lacey.
Have a good night, all. Have a good weekend. See you on Monday.
See you guys next time. Bye.